I returned to GTA 5 with the full intention to play through the story on the PS5 version. But before doing that, I thought I'd check out the online version, and yes, it's dramatically changed. As someone who's put several thousand hours into this game, back in 2013 and then when the Heists came out, I was surprised how much the online version has improved. I had a lot of cash on my original save, so I went on a bit of a spending spree. I bought quite a few businesses to see what they were like, and for someone who's a bit time poor and especially doesn't want to grind the game out too much, I realised there was a more efficient and much better way to start. So this video is going to be very useful to those who are new to it or returning. But you never know, some long time players might find some useful things here as well. Later in the video I'll show you how to get lots of cash quite quickly, especially if you're a solo player. But if you're a returning player, the first thing you should really get under money and services on your phone is the agency. It doesn't matter which location, they're all pretty much the same. You can go for the cheapest or the best located. The armory and the vehicle workshop is not essential to start with, but they're a good thing to get at a later date. But accommodation means you can spawn inside the agency. You get access to a helicopter whenever you want. But the main reason you want the agency is you get access to this solo heist, which pays out about 1.8 million for the first run, and then 1 million every time you rerun it at a later date. And you also get these security contracts, which you can run during the short cooldown. Another thing worth getting is under Restocking. Is this submarine, which gives you access to another solo heist, but you can also play it with one other player, and get 1.5 million and upwards every time you run it. And if you bought the agency with the accommodation, remember to change your spawn location to here, but I'll go into why in a bit later in the video. Another good thing is to go into invite only lobbies, or if you're in a crew, if you've got a crew, you can join a crew only lobby, like my old crew here that I made years ago. My crew I do mostly to do multiplayer heists and things like that, as the original heist can be a bit of a pain in the bum trying to do it with randoms. Regarding the original heists, they're not the best way to make money nowadays, but they're still fun to do, but you will need a high-end property to do them. Right, on to how to get the best start for new and returning players. If you're a returning player, go to manage characters. If you're a new player, you should get this automatically. Select the available slot, and you'll get this intro scene. And you'll be gifted $4 million, but unfortunately you have to spend $3 million of it, and you will be presented with 4 careers. For the executive to get a good location, the amount of money you're going to spend, I'd say that's a no-no. You can always get that one later on in the game. The gun runner, the bunker, that's not a bad option, but remember you want to keep your spend around about the 3 million mark. The nightclub owner, to get a good location, is quite expensive. It's also more of a late game option. I went with the biker because it's the cheapest option. It also plays into late game stuff later on down the line. I chose to have my clubhouse in the middle of the map, as I plan to have all my businesses in the same vicinity, but that's me planning ahead to late game. The cola business is one of the better ones, but I went with the blue business in the middle of the map. I also went with the most expensive bike. You don't have to, I'm doing this purely for the HSW, which is only available in the PS5 and the Xbox. If you don't want to do any of the races, don't bother with this item. But do get the armoured Kuruma. There is a free armoured car, but it's not as good as this one. For the guns, I went with special carbine. You'll need a mini SMG for when you're in the car. And I also went with a marksman sniper rifle. It's not one of the best, but it'll do for now. I've got 850k left, but if you want a different setup to get close to that million, that's perfectly fine. Now it's time to set up the character. You can play with the stats a little bit if you wish, but they rank up quite quickly, so don't worry too much on that. Now you're in the game, you're going to get a mini tutorial. When you walk out far enough, you'll get a text message from your mechanic who will deliver you your vehicle. Shortly after that, you'll get a message from Lamar. When you respond to that, you'll be given your next location. Which is a short battle, another little tutorial. And then you'll be sent to your business location. When you head there and go inside, you can occasionally do the resupply mission. You also have access to a couple of jobs, they're not that well paying, but I mostly got this for late game stuff, so I'm not going to actually do much here, so it isn't really worth your time upgrading the garage or upgrading anything here. Then when you leave your clubhouse, you'll be sent to your business. You'll have to log in to set up. You'll be given a setup mission. Which will fully supply your business and give you the option to upgrade it. On this save I am not going to bother, I'm going to leave that till much later in the game. But on my other save I already have with one of my businesses. And when you go to sell stock, you can make up to 210k, but the problem with these businesses, when you overfill it, you'll get 2 to 3 boats to deliver the stock, which can be a bit of a pain in the bum if you're doing it solo. So don't upgrade anything at the moment, just leave these businesses fallow till later in the game. So back to my new character. You'll now find that you're in a public lobby. This is a good time to go into an invite only lobby. Now you can scroll down to the web app. Click on Money and Services and click on Dynasty 8. Then click on Low End and scroll to the bottom and get your free garage. If you click on Warstock and scroll down, you'll find your free armour car, but like I said, it's not as good as the one that I told you to get earlier. On a side note, Legendary Motors also has free cars, but I won't bother with them just yet, as you don't make any money selling them, and you don't have much garage space at the moment as well. On selling cars, if you take them to the garage, you'll have the option to sell cars here, and it's what we had to do back in the day to grind out money as well as doing little missions. Next thing you want to do is go to a local store, so mark it on the map and go there, and buy as many sweets and drinks as you can. When you go outside, you can return your bike to the garage. Then phone your mechanic to get your armoured vehicle. When your armoured vehicle's nearby, head back into the store and then rob them. Because it's only 2 stars, all we have to do is go off-road a little bit because there'll be no helicopters and we'll lose the police quite quickly. The next place we want to go is the ammunition. My new character started at level 120, half of my old character, so you might not have access to all these guns, but if you scroll through you'll find that you've got quite a few free weapons, so pick up whatever free weapons you wish. I would also pick up some grenades. And you don't have to do it just yet, but at some point you should upgrade your special carbine. And pick up some armour while you're here as well. Okay, it's time to do the first set of missions. Select that R. And when you get there and step inside the gold circle, in the first window you get the ability to purchase all ammo and of course purchase some more heavy armour if you need it. In the second window you get the matchmaking option, always make sure that's closed, or you can select my friends or my crew. Now you're ready to start the mission and you'll get this little cutscene.
My RV back in its Los Santos time, baby! Whoa! Get over to the roof! Show me your butthole, fellas!
When the cutscene's over, take some cover, as it means you'll take less damage. When you've cleared one side, you'll be prompted to go to the next. You'll also notice if you go in the weapons menu, you've got the option at the top corner to replenish health by eating snacks or install new armour. I'm at the 4th location, and when I'm locking onto an enemy, just push up slightly with the thumbstick and you'll get a headshot every time. Okay, I've finished that section, I'm off to get the boats. and went to the location. I made sure slightly left to the actual spot where they wanted me to go, because I'm going to circle slightly round to the back so I can see where the red van is and also have slightly less enemies. Oh, and keep a good eye on your mini-map just in case someone sneaks up behind you. As you can see there, that was very close, and that's usually how you die. And blocked view can also be the issue from time to time as well. And as you can see, I pushed to the objective and didn't kill all the enemies, and now I'm just going to do a runner. As you can see, not much damage was done to the van, and I've cut late to the end of the objective. And the payout for that mission was 20,000. But also a first time bonus of 50,000. It's a good habit to get into, to bank all your money after every mission. After you've done the first mission, it's worth throwing DAX to get the Fooligan missions, as they pay out 50,000 every time, and you need to do 10 of them to unlock something later on. And here you can see I'm using the armoured cars protection. It's not 100%, but it's very close to it. Oh, and when you're inside the car, from the quick menu, you can get your armour and your health back. Under the career tab, you can see your progress. And when you completed the first dose and last dose missions, you will have made round about 750k. And you will get an extra 250k on top of that for a first time completion. When you head inside the hideout and speak to this guy, you got the option to upgrade that van, but it will cost 750k, so it might not be worth you doing it just yet, because after that you have to upgrade it as well, which you need to do those 10 Fooligan missions, but by doing those 10 Fooligan missions you should have a $500,000 from that as well. But if you do choose to upgrade it, here's what you'll get. You'll make around about 210k fully restocked. And unlike the MC businesses, the mission for this one is quite pleasant and quite easy to do. But I wouldn't bother with the resupply missions because they only do one notch at a time. It's just more efficient to talk to Mutt and get him to go and get the supplies. And you can boost productions once a day, real time day, here. But the only way to do these missions is to call that van out in the real world. It's best to face away from the direction you want it to go. And if you look for the stash house by scrolling through the sidebar, heading inside, shooting a few enemies, finding the safe combination on the post-it note, and of course inputting the safe combination, leaving and driving away a little bit of distance, you'll get a complete resupply, but it will be random locations, so that will only be your blue lab if that's all you've got. Okay, the next thing you should do is go to the casino. Do the little intro cutscene, and head to the Lucky Whale, as you can get a free spin once every real world day. Here's the odds for all the prizes. Now it's really important at this point to create a social club account and link it to your platform. There's a possibility of getting $500,000 for setting up the two-step verification, but when you go on the treasure hunt you'll get the 750k at the end. So go to this location on the map, and you can only do this for one save per account, so that's only once on the PlayStation or Xbox. I got a little lost here, but you can see where I parked my car. It's on the side of the building here. And that's the first location for the Navy Revolver. This is the second clue for the Navy Revolver. There's a chance that a helicopter may spawn at this location, but not for me. This is the third clue. and this is the location. And for the fourth clue, walk around here. And this is the location. Nearby, this is the location of another helicopter spawn. Now we can do the rest in the helicopter. And to find the van, this is the first location to go to. It should be where those planks of wood are. The next van spot is underneath this bridge. You'll know you're nearby if you can hear an eerie sound. And this is the location. And for me, the van was at the third location, so I'll pick up the clue. And this is the location. And here's the other spot that you might find it. And the location on the map. And the fifth possible location for the van will be in these bushes somewhere, and here it is on the map. And because it was north side of the map when I was doing something else, the stalker came to get me. But go here between 10 and 7 AM and stand on top of your car so you don't get killed. The double revolver, you'll get a text message. Read the text message not only to activate it, but also to get the clue. It's now marked on the map. But remember to use the image to give you a good idea of where it is. It'll be in a different location for every player. But for me, it was a picture of that viewing platform, so I went there. And it seems whenever you get close, a mountain lion comes to try and get you. But after you've read the note, you'll get 3 locations in the map. So this is the one that's probably the hardest to find. Just follow the river up to the cave. The next one is by this tree. Followed by the spade inside the shack. And then the final location will be a random spot on the map. So I went there, picked up my golden double barrel. And then the next thing to do is get the stone hatchet. At some point in the game you'll get a text from Mod. Once you've read the text you'll be getting an email. Then you'll have to do about 10 bounties. You've got a choice to either kill them or return them. You get less money for killing them, but it's less faff, so do that. Okay, how to get the 750 payout. You'd have been given missions from Gerald. If you haven't done them, it's worth doing them. But one of the early missions you don't have, or you'll soon have, is peer pressure. Do that one. Of course, the first window will give you the option to equip armour and restock ammo, but in the second window, make sure matchmaking is turned off. and you want to go to this point in the pier. Then you get killed with a Navy revolver. Of course you can drive up and down the pier to get the spawns. But you also need to get 50 headshots with a double barrel. And yes, you can shoot the enemies at the objective. But don't pick up your item until you've done all 3 of your bounties. And in the menu, if you scroll across to stats, and then down to weapons, you can view your progress. The free HSW Upgrade. You'll only get the free HSW Upgrade once, and it's only on the Xbox and the PlayStation. As I did it on my other save, it's not available, but you'll find it at this point here. Then after you've done the rest, you go to the Los Angeles Tunas location. Speak to Mimi and give her 50k. Then when you go back to your bike, you should have the mod vehicle. And as you can see, the performance upgrade is nearly 1.5 million, but the reason I got this bike is one of the fastest vehicles in the game. So when you do the daily and weekly time trials, it'll make your life a lot better, make the races a lot easier. But don't worry if you don't like the racing, you don't have to do it, you will have enough money at the end of all this. In fact, at this point, you should have all the money you need. So it's time to buy the agency. Out in the armory and the accommodation, you don't have to. But you will get free snacks, which is very useful. And at the armory, not only can you get weapons at a reduced rate, you can customise your weapon loadout. You won't get access to the VIP contract until you've done a security contract, but I'd do 3, as that will unlock the payphone assassinations, which you can get from phoning Franklin. Then you have to find a payphone who'll give you a little background about the reason why you're doing the job. You get instructions with further criteria, and it's really important to follow those instructions, so they'll be different each time. In this case I had to find a police car and follow the guy. Turn on the sirens to make him panic. Then he blew up his own car. And I got a bonus 30,000, and as you noticed I did it in less than 5 minutes. Some tips and tricks for Dr. Dre's VIP contract. The nightlife leak is quite straightforward, but in the second phase, after you've unlocked the cabin, you may want to turn the air defences off as well. In high society, when it comes to finding a limousine, don't follow it, just blow it up, and then recover the wallet that way. And the final step in high society leak. Park your car outside and follow this path round. Climb up here and take some cover. On occasions a helicopter might appear, but don't worry too much. Then when things quieten down you can jump back down. I went too early. But you need to get to that DJ booth to trigger the next phase. Then get to that blue car, you'll have a cutscene, get in the car and then chase after the helicopter. When you're on this road and you're next to the helicopter, push far forward as you possibly can. So when you got quite a bit of distance from the helicopter, you can take out a few enemies. It'll give you enough space and time to clear out the enemies. Then whatever weapons you got, you can start taking out the helicopter. Don't worry if you fail to take out the helicopter, you just have to go to a yacht. But once you've done taking out the helicopter, you have to follow it again. And when you get to this main road, use this ramp and carefully jump down. Don't go to the location where the helicopters crashed, head further up the beach for now. As there's a chance this helicopter may have spawned, so when you take that back to the crash site, kill them, pick up the phone, get in the helicopter and make your escape. But what do you do if the helicopter doesn't spawn? You killed the guy and picked up the phone, get in your car, follow the path that I'm doing. Go up that hill, get on top of the tunnel, and then get back onto the motorway and make your escape. Now tips for the South Central Leak. In the first section, when you've picked up this van, go in this tunnel. Park up like I am now. Of course, this is the location on the map. And very quickly, you'll lose the police and the lost MC. On a side note, going in and out of the agency seems to trigger Franklin's phone calls a lot quicker. Okay, a guide to the last two sections of the mission. Make sure matchmaking is turned off. Park your car like this so you've got some protection from the guys that might spawn just to your right. I like to use the grenade launcher to burn through the enemies really quickly. So when it gets to this point, I have to wait quite some time for the spawns to happen. So I'm standing here waiting patiently for that last guy to come around the corner. Before heading inside, I make sure my health is full and I've got armour on. Creep in just past that door and back again. Run to that cover before the next 2-3 spawn. Carefully aim the grenade launcher so I don't kill myself and it also bounces. While killing these enemies, keep a close eye on your radar because always one sneaks up behind you. It really gets me every time. There's a guy just behind those boxes, and there'll be one just at those drums. You can push yourself against that wall to see down the corridor. Watch out for the guy at right that just suddenly spawns. Of course, I'm going to use the grenade launcher to get the guy in that room. The guy just sitting in the corner there as well. And because I've pushed through so quickly, I have to go back and kill a further two that spawned a little bit slower than they should do. Then you head back to the studio to watch the cutscene that you can never skip. For the final mission, as before, make sure matchmaking is turned off and then head to your armoured car. Make sure to park your armor car here, or if you go inside it will despawn and you'll have to call it back in. After the cutscene, this fight is quite straightforward, so you can skip that, and you'll find the car where you parked it. When you get to the airport, head inside, be ready. You have 2 enemies at the corridor. Then you have 3 enemies through that door. Then another 2 will spawn here. Then hold back until after that explosion. Take cover of the corner of that wall. Then push to that box, take cover, pick off the last few enemies there. Double check behind that generator and the guy behind the car. At this point a car will come out, get your grenade launcher, blow it up. If you got one, that is. Then head to that box and take cover. When you got rid of those couple of enemies at the distance, then you can edge slightly like I'm doing now, using that big box as cover to pick off the other ones. And double check behind you just in case you've missed that guy there. Instead of going up the stairs, go over to this corner here and then shoot him from below. Don't worry, you won't kill him. When you go up to him and trigger the next bit, this will be the cutscene until they drive to the country club. Of course, there's the $1 million payout. And the final $250,000 first time bonus, and when you combine that with all the other first time bonuses, that will take you to over 1.8 million. So remember to bank it all before you move on. And after a short cooldown, you'll be free to play it as many times as you want. After a while you'll find it's only going to take you about 1.5 hours to do it. To trigger the Cayo Perico heist, you'll have to go to the music locker next to the casino. Go downstairs and speak to the guys in that corner. You have a nice cutscene with some story. Now you find that the submarine is unlocked and you can now purchase it. You get your flag for free. There's only one upgrade that's very useful but not essential. And that is the Sparrow. But it will more than double the cost of the submarine. So it's up to you if you want to grind out the Dr. Dre mission a little bit more, or jump straight into this heist. On a side note, when I was heading to the heist, this little red circle, little gang wars, were quite fun. You should do them if you haven't. But then you just simply head out to the submarine, climb inside. You will get lost quite a few times inside this thing, but this is the mission table. And when you set your spawn to this location, you just follow the route I'm taking. But be warned, if you rerun this heist, it's going to cost you 100,000 each time, but you will make the 1.5 million upwards. Another good business to have is the auto shops. They have a nice little batch of mini heists that you can play solo. And of course at this particular moment in time, it's got a third off with the added benefit of double the payout. So it's a good idea to keep an eye out every Thursday to see what changes Rockstar's brought in, because this happens quite a few times a year across all the different businesses. Of course, once you've bought the business, you're going to have a short cutscene. Then you're going to be sent out to steal a car. When you stole the car, you're going to be chased by a lot of police. To get rid of them, it's best to go down this tunnel and park up at this point here. And this is the location on the map if you don't know where it is. They've got 8 different contracts, many heists, 7 paying around the 170 to 180 mark, with one special heist at the 300 to 375,000 mark. You also get this exotic export list. Some you'll find around the world, some you'll have to find these little blue dots on the map. When you pick it up, you have to take it to the port. But you only get 20,000 each time, so I don't think it's worth it. Of course, if you take your car inside the garage, oh, you also get a 10 car garage as well. But most importantly, especially if you're at low level, you get all these upgrades as well. These are normally locked, so this is a feature of this garage. And if you bought the accommodation, you'll get a gun locker to customise your weapon loadout. And a few additional tips: if you call in a taxi, get inside and scroll to points of interest. You can get an instant fast travel to those points of interest, but only those points of interest, for $1,000. And if you see G's caches kicking around the map, it's always worth going picking them up. Sometimes they can be annoying to find, but sometimes they're quite straightforward. And if you're in the invite only session and you're way at the top of the map, and you've got your spawn location back at your place, back in the city, just go to a find a new session and reload in, because the reload times on the PS5 and the Xbox is really fast. It's a good way to get to your apartment back in the city really quickly. And keep an eye out for this guy sleeping in the streets, because he might have a key for the Cayo Perico heist. And if you do find yourself in a public lobby, you want to stay there a while, and you don't want to get into all the shenanigans, you can enable passive mode, which should reduce the amount of grief you're going to get from other players. As I wander around my garages, re-familiarising myself with all the vehicles I had from years ago, I do have more videos planned for GTA 5 Online, but like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't plan to overly grind this game because I don't want to kill it for myself like I did last time, and it's always best to have a couple of games on the go to keep things fresh. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like and subscribe button, and the bell thingy. And of course, thank you for watching. See you all later.